Hey guys, welcome to a tutorial on PySimpleGUI. PySimpleGUI is a Python library to build graphical user interface applications. It's a very simple library and it's very easy for a beginner to get started with. So first we'll need to learn how to install it. So to install it, you'll need to open your terminal or your command prompt. So if you're in Windows, you can just search for command prompt and open the command prompt. And in macOS it's open the terminal, and then after you get your terminal or command prompt, you can type in pip install PySimpleGUI, right, and press enter, and you can see that I've already installed PySimpleGUI in my computer, so I don't need to install it again. And to make sure it's working, you should create a Python file and we'll import the library. So to import the library, you have to type in PySimpleGUI and make sure you capitalize the P, S and GUI, right? And we don't want to type out PySimpleGUI every time when we refer to the library, so instead we'll call it PG, right? So as PG, and then we will print out PG, and then we'll run the program. And you can see that my output is module PySimpleGUI from a long file path, right? So if it types out like a module PySimpleGUI, that means you have installed PySimpleGUI correctly. You shouldn't get any sort of errors. After installing PySimpleGUI, let's just try to create a very simple PySimpleGUI application. There'll be 5 steps to this. First, step number 1 is to set a theme. So this theme is just how the color scheme, how the elements look like, things like that. Step 2 is to create the layout. So the layout is how you want to position our GUI elements, where you want to put the button, where you want to put the text box, where you want to put the label. After creating the layout, we want to next create and show the window. And then in step 4, we want to create the event loop. So when the user interacts with our PySimpleGUI window, we will get an event. For example, in VS Code, if I click on this run button, it'll run the application over here. So clicking on this is an event, and VS Code takes that event and it does something. So what it does is that it just runs the Python file in the terminal. Similarly, for our PySimpleGUI application, we will take the event and perform an action, and this will be done in the event loop. In step number 5, once the user has ended the program, we want to just close the window, right? So these are the 5 steps to creating the PySimpleGUI application. So step 1 is to just set the theme. So what I'll do is I'll go create a new line, PG theme, and then I'll create a string, and then I'll say dark amber, right? So this is just a theme that's available in PySimpleGUI, so I'll just be using this theme for this video. Okay, now let's move on to step 2, which is creating the layout. The layout is how we want to place our GUI elements in our window. So to create the layout, we need to first create a variable called layout, and then it'll be a Python list, and then we'll press enter. And the way the layout works is we have to start from the top and we will move down, right? So at the top we could have some sort of header, and then in the middle we could have a text box, and at the bottom we'll have a few buttons. Okay, so we'll be doing this in rows. So to create the first row, we have to make another list within the Python list, and then we will create a text object. So PG text. So we're just adding some text to our window, and in this text, in this bracket, we will put in the text that we want to show, right? So enter name. Okay, so once we have created the text, we will go to the next row. So type in a comma, and we'll create a new row, PG, and this time we want to have a text box. So in this text box, we will type in our name. So input text. So this is how you create a text box. Okay, and we'll just keep the brackets empty, comma, enter, and then we'll create two buttons. The first button will be OK, and the second button will be cancel maybe. Right, so pg button and then OK. So this is the text within the first button, and then in the second button we will just write in maybe cancel. All right, so this will be, so cancel will be written in the second button. So this is how the layout works. We will have text which says enter name, then input text, and then we'll have two buttons. So to have two elements in the same row, you can separate the elements using a comma, right? This is just a simple Python list. And then you can also have two elements over here. You can have two or more elements over here. You can do whatever you want. All right, so this is the layout for today's very simple application. After creating the layout in step number 2, we need to create the window. To create the window, we'll just make a variable called window, and then pg window, and then there'll be two arguments. The first argument is the title, so the title will be form. The second argument will be the layout, so just type in layout from over here, and this will just create a window with the title form and with layout, with this layout which you have put in over here. After we create the window, we still need to create the event loop. So for the event loop, we will first create a while loop that will go on forever. So while true, and the way you want to make this loop is basically if the person does not end the program, it will just keep on taking a name, right? So you can keep on the user can keep on typing their name until they finally end the program. So what we want to do is to do a window read. So what we'll do is to just print out window read. So what window read will do, it'll just read the window. It'll take the event as well as some values, and we also want to break from our while true loop, right? We don't want the program to never end. If we run the program now, you will see that we actually get a window. So we finally managed to create a window, and it says enter name. I'll just enter a name like John. And also you can see that this is the theme. So our text is yellow in color. We have a dark background. So the font is a little small, but you should be able to see it in your computer. And after we write down the name, we'll just press OK. Okay, so we have printed out window read, and we have ended the program with using break, and this is what we get, right? So this is actually a tuple object. So the first argument is the button, the text of the button, followed by our text box, right? So this is our first text box, and in the text box we wrote John. So we want to then use this to do something, right? We want to do something with this. So what we'll do is we will put in event and values, and then we will take window read, put it over here. We don't need the print statement anymore. And what we'll do is, if let's say the event is cancel, so right now we pressed OK, but if it's cancel, we want to end the program, right? So if event is equal to cancel, again you want to make sure capitalization is correct. We will just put in break. Okay, otherwise we want to print values. Okay, so now let's run this again. Let's type in John. Okay, and you can see the window is still open, and we are printing out the values, right? So value is 0:John, and I'll type in another name, Jeff, say OK, and you can see it prints out Jeff, and I'll just press cancel. Okay, so now we have a program that will just remain open until we close it, and we will just register the name, right? So now let's take values and put in 0, right? We'll just refer to this first element over here, John, and okay, and hey, we can now print out the name. So let's type in Jeff, press OK, so you can see in the terminal it shows Jeff. Let's type in John again. You can see it says John, right? And when we click on cancel, it'll end the program. All right, and in the final step, we will close our window. So it's just a good practice to have. So window, close. And then if we run it, you can see it works just fine. All right, and the event loop will keep going until we break, and it'll only break when we click on cancel over here. Okay, there are a few more things I want to talk about this program. So let's just comment this out, this theme, and let's just see the default theme, and we'll go to the event loop and run it. And you can see it's a nice blue color, and what I can do is I'll type in John, but let's say I don't want to press cancel. Instead I'll just close the window using this cross over here, and you can see that I'm getting a type error. So we want to try to avoid this type error. So the problem here is that the program is not checking for when the event is closing a window, right? Only when you press cancel, the window is the program is ended, right? So to remove the error, what we want to do is we want to also check for event, which is equal to pg when closed, right? So we're checking if the window is being closed. Okay, so if the window is being closed, we'll just end the program, and we just skip line number 20, which is causing the error. So let's run the program again, and let's just press on the close button here, and you can see I'm getting no errors. And just to make sure it's working correctly, John, I press OK, so I've entered John, Jeff. Okay, so it seems to be working, right? And if I press closed, the close button, you can see the program ends without any error message. So yeah, that's it for creating a very simple PySimpleGUI application. And in future videos, I'll be going more in depth. Again, this is a really simple program over here. So it's a very simple program. We'll be doing something a little more complex in future videos. But for now, that's it for this video. If you like this video, then please do consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.